Many of the ocean's strangest creatures dwell in its deepest waters, and quite a few of them are surprisingly dangerous to humans. Sometimes, the most lethal threats are the ones you'd never expect. With that in mind, here are 15 things you should immediately get out of the water for if you ever spot them in the ocean. Number 15. Stingrays. Did you know that stingray skeletons are made out of the same bone-like material as your ears? It's called cartilage, and it's a semi-flexible protein found in some animals. That's why they're soft and malleable, and that's why they can swim so gracefully. But don't be fooled. At the end of their tail, stingrays have a very powerful toxin-filled barb. When they feel threatened, they can lift it up and injure their potential predators. So whatever you do when you're swimming nearby a stingray, do not act in a threatening manner. Otherwise, you can expose yourself to a serious injury, so much so that it is potentially lethal. It's also important to note that stingrays are closely related to sharks, which means they are quite skilled predators themselves. They don't usually attack humans, but it's never impossible that it could happen. Stingrays also like to bury themselves in the sand to hide from potential predators, so it's sometimes hard to spot them. If you're scuba diving and you see the sand moving, it might be a stingray, and you should get out of the water immediately. Number 14. Humpback whale. Humpback whales are extremely big. They usually range from 12 to 13 meters long and weigh approximately 40 short tons. Their powerful flippers are about a third of the length of their entire body, and they're very narrow and long, which makes them easily recognizable. You can find humpback whales at the coasts of every ocean, and they occasionally swim along the shore. Although these whales don't feed on anything bigger than krill and small fish, they are the most acrobatic species of whales, which means they jump out of the water with extreme force and grace. But if you're an inexperienced diver, you should always try to stay as far away as possible. Having such a massive tail hit you is dangerous business. They have never presented aggressive behavior towards humans, but their body mass is so spectacular that an encounter can easily end in tragedy. So if you're an ultra fan of humpback whales and you can't pass on an opportunity to watch them in their natural habitat, make sure you're surrounded by experts and trained divers to protect you. These gentle giants can sometimes underestimate their own strength and cause harm without wanting to. If you see this in the ocean, get out of the water right away. Number 13. Flower urchin. Don't get fooled by the pretty appearance of the flower urchin. They are considered one of the most venomous sea urchins in the world, and for further irony, the part that's deadly is precisely its beautiful, fancy flowers. Each flower in the flower urchin is indeed a spine filled with a very powerful toxin that can cause unbearable pain and even paralysis in humans. They're found primarily in tropical Indo-Pacific waters, so if you ever wander in those waters, be sure not to get too close to these beautiful yet hostile sea bouquets. They aren't very big, and thankfully, their colorful exterior makes them quite easy to spot. They possess hundreds of little spines ready to sting whoever dares to touch them. Animals that coexist with them know this very well, so much so, you will rarely see fish swimming near them. In nature, when something is very colorful, it's usually to warn off predators, letting them know they are venomous, and the flower urchin is no exception. They're very pretty to look at but never to touch. Number 12. Puffer fish. This cute little fish is one of the most threatening fish in the sea. When they feel in danger, they simply, puff up. They can become a little ball of spines drifting away out of control in the water. Predators who try to eat a pufferfish often end up regretting it, as the spines can get stuck in their mouths and the toxin can be fatal even in small amounts. Some species of pufferfish are covered in sharp, needle-like spines, while others just look like a smooth, inflated balloon. Their eyes are large and expressive, giving them a comical appearance that hides their deadly nature. In the wild, pufferfish are slow swimmers, relying on their ability to inflate and their potent toxins for protection rather than speed. Despite their defenses, they are still preyed upon by a few animals, like sharks, which are immune to their poison. The process of inflating is stressful for the fish, and if they do it too often, it can actually harm them. Even so, their unique defense has made them a favorite subject for underwater photographers and curious divers. But this bizarre technique is extremely effective for one hidden reason. They are extremely poisonous. They inflate by swallowing lots of water and keeping it in their stomach, so they're basically poisonous, spiky water balloons, but not the kind you want to throw at your friends in a water balloon war, unless you want to end up in the hospital, of course. When they puff up, they can expand up to 3 times their size, and in order to do that, they don't have any ribs. Their bodies are laced with a toxin called tetrodotoxin, and it is 1,200 times more poisonous than cyanide. That means that one little pufferfish can kill 30 adult people. That powerful defense mechanism makes them the second most poisonous invertebrate in the world. Knowing all this, the normal response to seeing one would be to keep as far away as possible. But actually, pufferfish are a delicacy in Japan. That's right, they eat them. Apparently, the thrill of it potentially killing you is what makes eating fugu, as they call it, so exciting. Number 11. Cone snail. When people think of snails, what usually comes to mind is a tiny, slow, and delicious in garlic butter creature. But the reality is that there are over 40,000 different species of snails on the planet, and they are not all as harmless as your ordinary garden snail. The cone snail is a 6-inch toxic killer, and it lives in the waters of Southeast Asia. Some divers call it the cigarette snail because, after being stung, you supposedly only have enough time left to smoke a single cigarette. Its shell is beautifully patterned, which makes it a tempting find for shell collectors, but that beauty hides a deadly secret. The harpoon can shoot out in the blink of an eye, faster than most people can react. There have been cases where people picked up a cone snail, only to be stung through gloves or even wetsuits. The venom contains a cocktail of toxins that can cause paralysis, respiratory failure, and even heart failure. There is no antivenom, so treatment is mostly supportive, keeping the victim alive until the toxins wear off. Some researchers are studying cone snail venom for its potential use in painkillers, since it's so effective at shutting down nerves. This is a perfect underwater predator that successfully hunts down fish on a daily basis. The cone snail is equipped with a long harpoon made out of modified teeth, which harbors a toxin strong enough to kill a grown man. The venom has the ability to instantly paralyze its prey, making it very easy to feast on them while they're still alive. Cone snails are not in the habit of attacking humans, but it's important to note that they are quite difficult to see when they're hiding under the sand. If someone happens to walk by barefoot, the snail will defend itself with its only weapon, the lethal poison. If not treated immediately, it can easily result in a tragic death. Now it's time for today's topic. Most strange creatures live in the deep waters of the ocean, and lots of them are potentially lethal to human beings, and sometimes you wouldn't even imagine which ones are the most dangerous of them all. With that in mind, here are 15 things if you see in the ocean you should get out of the water right away. On May 2nd, 2025, a group of fishermen off the coast of Newfoundland faced a terrifying ordeal that forced them to abandon their vessel. The crew of the North Star was conducting a routine deep-sea trawl when their nets snagged something unusually heavy. At first, they thought it was a large haul of fish or debris, but what they pulled onto the deck left them in shock. The creature was enormous, with a rough, armored hide that looked ancient, almost fossil-like. Its body was covered in jagged ridges and barnacle-like growths, and its massive, eel-like tail thrashed violently, nearly capsizing the boat. The head was the most horrifying feature, elongated, with rows of jagged teeth and deep-set, predatory eyes that seemed to follow the crew's every move. It let out a guttural, bone-chilling roar that echoed across the water. As the creature began to thrash uncontrollably, smashing equipment and tearing through the deck, the crew panicked. Fearing for their lives, they abandoned the ship and swam to safety, leaving the North Star adrift. When the vessel was later recovered, the creature was gone, leaving only destruction behind. Scientists remain baffled, with some speculating it could be a prehistoric survivor. The fishermen, however, refused to speak further, shaken by the encounter. Number 10. Moray eel. Moray eels are very intriguing creatures, but they definitely need their space respected, and here's why. In Indonesia, some divers even saw a gigantic moray eel attacking and eating a white-tip shark. They're colorful and beautiful, but they have sharp teeth, and they'll appear out of nowhere and bite you if you get too close. Some species can grow up to 13 feet long, making them one of the largest eels in the ocean. Their jaws are not only powerful, but they also have a second set of jaws called pharyngeal jaws, which shoot forward to grab prey and pull it down their throat. This unique adaptation is straight out of a science fiction movie and makes their bite even more terrifying. There are stories of moray eels latching onto a diver's arm and refusing to let go, forcing the diver to surface with the eel still attached. Their eyesight isn't great, so they rely heavily on their sense of smell to hunt, which means they can be attracted by the scent of blood or bait in the water. Some divers have even lost fingers while feeding moray eels, not because the eel was aggressive, but because it mistook the hand for food. Despite their fearsome reputation, moray eels are actually quite shy and prefer to avoid humans whenever possible. They mainly hide in coral reefs and in the crevices in the rocks, so it's very important to watch out for them and to keep your hands to yourself. If not, be prepared to have a full set of knife-like teeth in your hands or arms. Moray eels are very highly skilled hunters, and if they feel threatened, they tend to be quite short-tempered. So always scuba dive with someone that's experienced when you enter their territory. If they can take down a shark, they will have no issue taking down an unaware diver. Moray eels are very fast swimmers as well, so you won't see them coming. And because they are covered in a mucus layer, it's extremely hard to get a hold of them. They are incredibly slippery. In conclusion, moray eels are very nice to look at, but from a safe distance. Number 9. Reef stonefish. The stonefish, like its name suggests, looks exactly like a stone at the bottom of the sea. It is a master of camouflage. Even the most experienced people have a really hard time spotting them. They literally hide in plain sight. Some divers have accidentally placed their hands right next to a stonefish without realizing it, only to discover the danger later. The spines on its back are like hypodermic needles, ready to inject venom at the slightest pressure. Incredibly, the pain from a stonefish sting is said to be so intense that victims have begged for their limbs to be amputated. There are even stories of fishermen who, after being stung, jumped into ice-cold water just to numb the agony. The venom can cause paralysis, shock, and even death if not treated quickly. Antivenom exists, but you have to get to a hospital fast. Time is critical. Some local communities have developed traditional remedies, but modern medicine is still the best hope for survival. They bury themselves in the sand, waiting for a fish to swim by, and then they quickly open their jaws and catch it, and the fish never knew what hit it. The stonefish isn't a very pretty animal. It isn't aggressive at all, and it's also quite small. They're very happy just laying there all day long without moving a muscle. So what makes them dangerous for us? Well, it is the most venomous fish in the world. So if you're walking barefoot in the sea and you happen to touch a stonefish, its powerful toxin will immediately enter your system. So in addition to being nearly impossible to spot, they are extremely deadly. Not a good combination at all. So much so, the reef stonefish is believed to be the deadliest fish in the sea. So if you live near the waters of the Red Sea or the Indo-Pacific Ocean, stay aware of its powerful venom. Number 8. Box jellyfish. Box jellyfish are extremely dangerous. They can swim at 20 feet per minute, and they produce a venom that is excruciatingly painful and that can be lethal to humans. A fully grown box jellyfish can measure up to 8 inches long, but their tentacles can be 10 feet in length. They have about 15 tentacles laced with venom in each corner. That is a lot of venom. These creatures are so deadly, there have been reports of them killing a great white shark. Incredibly, their bodies are almost completely transparent, making them nearly invisible in the water until it's too late. Swimmers often don't realize they're in danger until they feel the burning pain of a sting. Some survivors describe the sensation as being branded with a hot iron, followed by waves of nausea and muscle cramps. The venom attacks the heart, nervous system, and skin cells all at once, leaving little time for rescue. Even experienced divers and lifeguards are wary of entering waters where box jellyfish are known to roam. In some coastal areas, warning signs and vinegar stations are set up along beaches to help treat stings quickly. Despite these precautions, the box jellyfish remains a silent menace, lurking just beneath the surface. They have a complex nervous system and a relatively advanced sensory system compared to other jellyfish, which means they have an active, fish-like behavior. They can avoid obstacles and swim directly where they want to go, and that's why human fatalities are quite common. In Australia specifically, there are deaths each year attributed to the box jellyfish. And in the Philippines, an estimated 20 to 40 people die each year from their sting. These are not your normal jellyfish. Their sting can kill a grown man, and they usually travel in very large groups, so where you see one, there might be hundreds more. If you ever see a box jellyfish, and they are recognizable by their box shape, you should get out of the water immediately. Although they are mesmerizing to look at, their tentacles can reach very wide, and you would need immediate medical attention if you wanted to survive. Number 7. Saltwater crocodile. The saltwater crocodile is a hypercarnivorous apex predator, which means it doesn't have natural predators in its natural habitat. It also means that it'll eat pretty much everything and anything you put in front of them. They don't have a particular taste for human flesh, but they are known for being aggressive towards people if they feel threatened. These massive reptiles can grow up to 23 feet long and weigh over a ton, making them the largest living reptiles on the planet. Their stealth is legendary. They can remain almost completely submerged, with only their eyes and nostrils above water, waiting patiently for hours before launching a lightning-fast attack. In some regions of Australia and Southeast Asia, saltwater crocodiles are responsible for more fatal attacks on humans than sharks or any other marine animal. Locals often refer to them as salties and have developed a deep respect and caution for the waterways they inhabit. There are stories of crocodiles dragging entire livestock into the water with a single snap of their jaws, demonstrating their immense power. Their territories can stretch for miles, and they are known to travel between rivers and the open sea, sometimes being spotted far from land. That's why they're considered a major danger for people that share a habitat with them. Any other apex predator that dares to wander anywhere near their territory will feel the full wrath of their powerful bite, and humans are no exception. Saltwater crocodiles mainly live in warm waters, and they are the largest species of crocs in the world. Their bite is extremely strong and deadly. They will not let go of their prey or their enemy. The saltwater crocodile often goes to the coastline to sunbathe in order to raise its blood temperature, and that's when the majority of accidents happen. When a wild crocodile isn't used to the sight of humans, they can consider them as a threat and therefore attack. Number 6. Needlefish. Needlefish might not look very dangerous or fierce. They're not the biggest animal in the oceans or the scariest looking, but they have already claimed several human lives. They have a very elongated and slender body, but they have a long beak full of extremely sharp teeth that can inflict serious and deep puncture wounds. What makes them especially dangerous is their tendency to leap out of the water at high speeds, sometimes as fast as 40 miles per hour, especially when startled by lights or sudden movement. There have been reports of needlefish launching themselves into boats or even directly at people wading in shallow water, causing unexpected injuries. Their silvery bodies can be hard to spot in the sunlight, making them almost invisible until it's too late. In some Pacific islands, fishermen are particularly wary of night fishing with bright lights, as this attracts needlefish and increases the risk of being impaled. Some cultures even have old stories and warnings about the dangers of these flying fish and the bad luck they can bring. Despite their slender appearance, their beaks are strong enough to pierce through flesh, bone, and even light wooden boats. In tropical waters, they live near the shore. They primarily feed on smaller fish, catching them sideways with their beak and then swallowing them headfirst. And some species of needlefish can even skim out of the water and roam the surface for a few yards. So if you were being attacked by one of these beautiful creatures, not even getting on dry land would save you. In 1977, a needlefish attacked a 10-year-old boy in Kauai, and it struck him near his right eye. The boy was fishing on a boat with his father, but there was nothing anyone could do. The fish's beak penetrated the boy's skull so deeply, it actually reached his brain. Tragically, the boy died. The biggest needlefish can reach up to 5 feet long, while the smallest can only grow up to 2 inches. So if you ever encounter one of the bigger species, get out of the water as fast as you can. Number 5. Blue-ringed octopus. The blue-ringed octopus is exceptionally mesmerizing. It has beautiful electric blue rings all over its body with a yellow background. But as with most extremely colorful creatures on this earth, it's a way to warn off predators, because they usually harbor a very powerful venom, strong enough to kill anything in its natural habitat. Despite their small size, often no bigger than a golf ball, their bite can deliver enough venom to paralyze and kill an adult human within minutes. The toxin they produce, called tetrodotoxin, is so potent that there is no known antidote, making any encounter potentially deadly. Sometimes, people don't even realize they've been bitten until symptoms like numbness, difficulty breathing, and muscle paralysis set in. Blue-ringed octopuses are also incredibly intelligent, using their arms to unscrew jars, solve puzzles, and escape from enclosures in aquariums. Their ability to squeeze through the tiniest cracks and crevices makes them masters of both hunting and hiding. In some cultures, they are considered a symbol of mystery and danger, and stories about their deadly beauty are passed down through generations. They are one of the most venomous marine animals in the world. Not only is it a master of camouflage, but of disguise as well. It can imitate a very large range of creatures, rocks, and algae. So if you ever catch in the corner of your eye the telltale blue and black rings of this octopus, you better get out of the water immediately. Blue-ringed octopuses can be found in tide pools and coral reefs in the Indian and Pacific Oceans, all the way from Japan to Australia. Although they are a quite docile species, when handled badly, it can feel threatened and change its color dramatically, and that's when it's time to go, because this octopus's neurotoxin can be fatal to people. So it's always best to leave them be. Number 4. Tiger shark. Sharks can come in many different species, and only one of them isn't dangerous to humans. But the tiger shark might just be amongst the most dangerous marine animals out there, and it isn't the biggest or the strongest of the shark species. What makes the tiger shark so dangerous is its personality. It is the most aggressive shark out there. Tiger sharks are often called the garbage cans of the sea, because they have been found with all sorts of strange objects in their stomachs, from license plates to tires. Their jaws are incredibly powerful, allowing them to crush the shells of sea turtles, one of their favorite meals. Unlike some other sharks that prefer deep waters, tiger sharks are frequently found in shallow coastal areas, which increases the chances of encounters with humans. They are mostly nocturnal hunters, silently patrolling the reefs and shorelines under the cover of darkness. Some researchers believe their boldness and curiosity are what lead them to investigate unfamiliar objects, including boats and swimmers. In Hawaii, tiger sharks are both feared and respected, and local legends often feature them as powerful spirits of the sea. It lives worldwide in tropical waters and predominantly near the coast. It gets its name because of the characteristic vertical lines that cover the sides of its body, so at least they're very easy to spot. They can reach the staggering length of 18 feet and can weigh as much as nearly a metric ton. And not only are they extremely aggressive predators, they also eat just about anything they find, even other sharks. They don't have the habit of attacking humans, but they would not hesitate if needed. In some areas, tiger sharks have attacked people, and due to their immense size, it can easily end in fatalities. Although it is important to note that attacks on humans are very rare, they are still a very powerful predator. And if you're not experienced and you happen to see one in the water near you, you would be very wise to immediately get out of the water. Number 3. Great white shark. Great whites are the biggest species of shark out there. They can grow up to 20 feet in length, and they weigh 5,000 pounds at maturity. It is the absolute apex predator of the sea. They have no natural predators aside from occasionally the killer whale. With their torpedo-shaped bodies and powerful tails, great whites can reach speeds of up to 35 miles per hour in short bursts, making them formidable hunters. They often breach the surface in spectacular displays, launching their massive bodies out of the water while hunting seals. Their sense of smell is so acute that they can detect a single drop of blood in 25 gallons of water, and they can sense the electromagnetic fields produced by other animals. Great whites are also known for their intelligence and curiosity, sometimes circling boats or investigating unfamiliar objects with gentle nudges. In some coastal regions, researchers have even observed them working together to herd schools of fish, showing a surprising level of cooperation. Despite their fearsome reputation, many divers who have encountered great whites describe them as cautious and even shy, rather than mindlessly aggressive. They are single-handedly responsible for the majority of bites on humans than any other species of shark. They are absolutely powerful and perfectly designed to hunt. They don't like the taste of human flesh, but accidents can happen because when they get very curious about us, they tend to bite out of curiosity. Usually, after the first bite, they simply swim away, but a bite from these gigantic animals can be fatal to us, given the size of their jaws. They are the world's biggest predatory fish, and they eat pretty much anything. They have 300 knife-like teeth that can cut through metal without a problem. Female great whites are larger than the males, and the biggest ever recorded has been named Deep Blue. It's estimated that she's about 50 years old. Great whites are not aggressive towards humans, but they are extremely strong, and accidents do happen often. So if you see the characteristic shark fin in the water, go back on the boat as fast as you can. Number 2. Lionfish. The lionfish is a carnivorous fish native to the Indo-Pacific Ocean. It's very colorful and beautiful, but it has a deadly secret. Even though they're very slow-moving, they are full of venomous spines, and that is why they have no known predators. Their spines deliver a sting that can cause intense pain, swelling, and even temporary paralysis in humans. Some divers have described the pain as worse than a bee sting, lasting for hours or even days. Lionfish are also incredibly resilient and can adapt to a wide range of environments, from shallow reefs to deeper waters. They reproduce rapidly, with a single female capable of releasing thousands of eggs every few days. This explosive population growth has made them a serious threat to native fish species, as they consume huge quantities of juvenile fish and crustaceans. In some places, organized lionfish hunting events are held to help control their numbers and protect local marine life. Since 20 years ago, there have been many sightings of lionfish in the Atlantic Ocean coasts, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Caribbean Sea. They are thought to have been released there by pet owners after realizing the lionfish would eat all the other fish in their tanks. And this is a massive issue because it's disturbing entire ecosystems as well as harming unaware divers. Where they come from, everybody knows to stay far away from the lionfish, but in the Atlantic waters, some scuba divers might be mesmerized by its tropical appearance and get too close. Like its name suggests, lionfish hunt in packs, just like the big cat they're named after. And because this strategy is so rare and so successful, there's not much their prey can do to save themselves. If you ever see a beautiful lionfish in the water, be sure to stay far away from it. Number 1. Great barracuda. The barracuda is one of the fastest fish in the sea. They can swim at speeds of 36 miles per hour, and to be even scarier, some species of barracuda form schools of thousands of individuals. Just imagine what it would be like to have such a massive group of fish swimming at you with such great speed. Their silvery bodies can reflect sunlight in dazzling flashes, making the water shimmer as they dart by. Sometimes, divers have reported seeing barracudas follow them out of curiosity, their sharp eyes never leaving the intruder. In the wild, barracudas are known for their sudden bursts of acceleration, allowing them to ambush prey with almost surgical precision. They often hunt by lurking motionless, then striking in the blink of an eye, leaving little chance for escape. Fishermen sometimes find that barracudas are attracted to shiny objects, mistaking them for small fish, which is why jewelry and watches are best left on shore. There are even stories of barracudas leaping out of the water in pursuit of prey, startling anyone nearby. Because of their size and speed, the great barracuda does not have any natural predators, and they could be greatly dangerous for us as well. These species of barracuda can reach up to 5 feet in length, and because they are carnivorous predators, they also have massive teeth in their mouths. Their bodies are literally designed for speed, so you would never see them coming. They have never attempted to feed on people, but if they are provoked, barracudas tend to be pretty aggressive, even with humans. So if you happen to run across one while swimming, it would be very much advised to get out of the water, unless you're a highly trained diver with experience with these animals. As you can see, the world's waters are home to many creatures that can be extremely dangerous, so it's wise to keep that in mind before you go swimming at the beach. Have you ever had a close encounter with any of these animals? Let us know. Also, Be sure to check out our other interesting content appearing on your screen right now. See you next time.